We have a problem. We know what we need to do, we know how we need to do it, but for some reason, we're not doing it. You may find yourself in the same situation. You know what needs to get done, you know how to do it, you have the time in order to get it done, but you don't do it. This is the reason why so many of us are not reaching our personal and professional goals. It's the reason why so many of our companies are not able to create profits that exceed expectations. It's the reason why our industries are not as strong as they should be. It's the reason why our economy is not as big as it should be. Everything in our life that we want to go get and the things that we want to enjoy are all being delayed because we lack motivation. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about why we lack motivation. Let's talk about how it happened, what causes us to lose motivation, and then let's talk about what we're going to do in order to recharge, get the motivation that we need in order to reach our personal and professional goals. Some people are going to talk to you and they'll tell you, the reason why you can't reach your personal and professional goals and the reason why your team is not productive is you don't have the right education. You don't have the right training, you don't have the right the development. You just don't have the skills that that you need in order to be successful. Now there's a time and place for that. There's personal leadership skills that you can learn in order to become more productive and become more efficient. But learning about personal leadership skills and learning how to do your job in your industry better is not going to allow you to make the progress that you need to make if you lack motivation. Motivation is such a key factor. You can have all the training, you can have all the talent, you can have all the creativity, you can even have a step-by-step process written and updated and refined by artificial intelligence. You can have the knowledge that you have in all of the library books that you can possibly read. You can read all of the material out there in your industry, and you could be the best informed person in your industry. But if you lack motivation, all of that knowledge is completely useless. If you lack motivation, all of your talent that you have is completely useless because you're never going to act upon it. You're never going to refine it. You're never going to sharpen it. And you're never going to apply it to your personal and professional goals. Some people will say, your net worth is your network, and vice versa. Your network is your net worth. But your network is not going to be able to generate revenue for you. It's not going to be able to give you the returns that you make on investing in your network if you don't have any motivation. Your network can give you resources, they can give you access to opportunities, they can give you advice and counsel. But if you lack motivation, it's pointless. You're not going to do anything. You're not going to make the progress that you want to make. You can have very supportive family members, you can have very supportive parents, you can have very supportive brothers and sisters and cousins, but if you don't have motivation to go out there and do the things that you need to do in order to be successful, it doesn't matter how good your family is and how much they support you, you are never going to be able to reach your potential if you lack motivation. Now, I know there are some people out there, and it's very popular in this space. You hear keynote speaker after keynote speaker, you can hear event managers talk about it. They'll tell you that you don't need motivation. Like what is motivation? What good can motivation do to my company? What good can a motivational speaker do for my event? That's what they'll tell you. If you're in the event space, if you're in the speaking space, there's a lot of people out there who will say motivation alone doesn't work. Motivation alone doesn't deliver the results. It doesn't provide the return on investment that we make. Some of these speakers, me included, it's not cheap to bring us in. But when people tell me that, and I hear that, when people tell me, hey, you got to do more than motivation, that people need more than motivation, I look at them like they're crazy. And the reason why I look at them like they're crazy is because we're all human beings. And I know something about what it's like to be a human being working at a company. I was a consultant at one of the big four accounting firms in the world. I also served as a commissioned officer in the United States Air Force. And the teams that I was a part of and the teams that I led and the organizations that I was a part of and the units that I led in the United States Air Force, let me tell you, motivation, high morale, that was a difference maker. There's been times when we've had really bad days at work. We failed inspections. Everything was going bad. But if you have a team that is a high morale team, a team that has great motivation, when we experience challenges and when we experience hard times, we learn from those mistakes. We learn from those challenges. We get the lessons learned. We put it out. We create best practices, and we get better. Each time we succeed, we do after action, we get better. Each time we fail, we get the lessons learned and we get better. But a unit is not going to be able to consistently get better, regardless of the challenges that they face, if that unit has low morale. And that unit will have low morale if the people on that team do not have any motivation. I've seen that in consulting. The projects that do the worst, the projects where they are the highest burn projects, the projects that have the most ambitious and seemingly realistic goals, those projects are the highest burn, most stressful, least profitable projects because the team eventually loses motivation. They eventually become a low morale team. And low motivation and low morale teams, and guess what? They always, 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 they always underperform. And it's so obvious. Like in the first couple of weeks of a project, everything is good, everything looks good. But at the first downturn, the first sign that, you know what, this project was not scoped correctly, or this project was not staffed correctly. The first downturn, because because my project team has low motivation, that project team is going to experience significant challenges delivering that piece of work. You probably see it in your industry. Regardless of what your industry is, if you have a team that is supposed to get a job done and they experience a challenge, if that team has low morale, you already know what is going to happen. And low morale teams have members on the teams that lack motivation. Motivation is so critical. It is so critical. It's the thing that prevents mistakes that are very costly. When you're dealing with technology, a mistake, a bug, a poorly written piece of code can completely ruin a whole application. And developers who have low motivation, they tend to not be as focused on the details. They tend to not be as quick on fixing defects and bugs, and they don't write as good or high quality code. You have to have good, strong motivation, not just for yourself, but also for your team members and for the people who are working at your company. If I can give you the motivation that you need to be 10% more productive, then at the end of the year, your company will make $1 million. They will either save $1 million or they will make it in revenue. And if your company is able to create profits that exceed expectations, then they can use that money to pay you. They can use that money to invest in programs. They can use that money to increase their market share. They can use that money to give raises and bonuses. And you'll be able to live a better quality of life. Now, I know you may be thinking, Kenneth, that sounds great. You're so magnanimous. By speaking about motivation and helping me and my team become more productive and more efficient, you really are doing us a solid. Why do you care if my company makes money? Why do you really care if I'm more efficient and more productive? The reason why I care, and I want to make sure that your company is able to make that $1 million by the end of the year. And I want to make sure that you're more productive and you're more efficient so that you can live a better quality of life. You can get paid more. The reason why I care is because if you succeed and your company succeeds, then your industry is going to be stronger. And if your industry is stronger, then that means our economy is going to be able to grow bigger. And eventually, one day, our economy will be so big, we will be able to provide a quality of life to every man, woman, and child of every ethnicity, and they will be able to live and experience prosperity. That, my friends, is my mission. I'm on a mission. I got to let you all know. If you don't know already, by the way I talk and the energy that I have, and if you can't even feel and experience my spirit, that's my mission. If I'm able to create the economy so that men, women, and children of every ethnicity can experience prosperity and live in harmony, my work on this earth will feel like it has been done. I will feel so fulfilled. I'll feel so satisfied. I'll feel content. I'll feel joy because I know what pain so many people have to experience because they're not able to experience prosperity. Being poor is horrible. It is a horrible situation. And in one of the wealthiest countries in the world, the land of the free, home of the brave, we should not have to have people living in poverty. Every single family in our country should be able to experience prosperity. We're willing to work for it. Today, I'm talking about the motivation that is going to help us get started. So if anybody tells you, or if you hear anybody say you need more than motivation, let them know. Oh, exactly. We definitely need motivation. We definitely need a motivational keynote speaker. We definitely need to invest in motivation for our, not just for the people that are working in our company, but for ourselves. You need motivation. Now, there are some people out there who say, people are going to get ready to lose their jobs because of artificial intelligence. And because we're using more and more technology, because we're using more and more artificial intelligence, we don't have to invest in as much in professional development. We don't have to invest as much in the motivation for the people that are working at our company. We're using more and more technology. We're using more and more automation. We're using more and more of our resources to invest in the technology, and we don't need as much motivation. But my friends, the more you automate, the more you use artificial intelligence, the more important it is, the more valuable it is for you to take care of your human resources, for you to take care of the people who are working at your company. Your company is just a group of people. That's all it is. If you get rid of all your people and you go full technology, you don't really have a company. You have a collection of technological assets or liabilities, and that's not a company. The thing that makes your company, the thing that allows you to reach your clients is the people that you have working at your company who are using the best technology to reach the clients and to deliver the services and to create the products that your company is selling. So the more you use technology, the fewer employees that you have, the more critical it is for you to invest in motivation. We know this instinctively. I know it based on my experience, but you probably know it too. When you are motivated to do something, you're more creative, you're able to access more of your intelligence, you're able to solve more problems, you're able to fix more systems. When you are motivated, you're able to work longer, harder, be more productive, you're more efficient. When you are motivated to do something, you will be surprised at what you can accomplish. The potential that you have inside you, that potential that you have of greatness, it can only be activated when you are motivated. It can only be activated when you are inspired. And the level of motivation that you need is directly proportionate to the potential that you have inside you. So if you have high levels of intelligence, or you have high levels of creativity, or you have high levels of determination, if there is a talent that you are born with, and believe me, you may be working at a company and they don't know your true talent, but if you have a talent that you have inside you, or you have a talent that you've been born with, or you have a talent that or a skill that you have developed, the potential that you have to change your conditions by investing and by sharpening that skill or by sharpening that talent, the potential of your talent is directly proportionate to the level of motivation that you need. If you don't have any talent at your company or you don't have any talent inside you, you don't need very much motivation. There's not much variance, there's not much difference in what you're going to be able to produce and do with or without motivation. However, if your talent is great, if your creativity is great, if your company has hired well, then you absolutely should invest in motivation because the variance, the difference between your performance and your team's performance when they are motivated and when they are not motivated is so great. You could be 150% more productive with motivation, or you can be 50% more productive without motivation if morale is low. There are some people who watch sports, and sometimes I watch sports, and you'll see a team that is like, it's so great. That team is so great, like a basketball team. They're so great on paper. That football team is so great on paper. But for some reason, when they go through the season, when they hit the playoffs and when they're competing at a high level, for some reason, that team underperforms their expectation that they had at the beginning of the season. I don't want to ruffle any feathers here on this particular topic, but let's just use the Raiders, for example. I love the Raiders. I'm from Los Angeles. But every single, or the Cowboys, every single season, the people who are the fans of the Raiders and the people who are the fans of the Cowboys, they are so gung-ho. They are so excited about their team in the offseason, the moves that they have made, the experience that the team has been able to acquire from last season. Their fans are probably the most optimistic fans because during the offseason, they use that time when no one is playing football to build up that belief in their team. And you would look at the team and you say, on paper, they could be pretty good. They can be pretty good on paper. But as soon as they get into the game, as soon as the season starts, week 2, week 3, week 4, and you see them begin to underperform their expectations, maybe they drafted high and that draft pick is not performing. Maybe they got a new coach that is an exciting hire, but that coach is underperforming. Maybe they have a quarterback that is finally supposed to be healthy, but that quarterback is underperforming. Maybe the wide receiver is off. Maybe the O-line is not doing the job that they're supposed to be doing. As soon as you get into the season and you experience some adversity, that team underperforms. They fail. And why do they fail? Well, a lot of times they lack motivation. Something happened in the locker room that we don't even know about. Something happened in someone's personal life that affected how they play, and based on how they played, the team responded a certain way. Someone in the locker room is lazy. It wasn't checked. Someone in the locker room is distracted. It wasn't checked. There's things happening in the culture of the organization that continue to reoccur. And eventually the whole team loses motivation to succeed. Now everyone's just out for themselves, their career, and how much money that they can make. And they can care less about whether or not the team actually wins. They can care less about if the team makes it playoffs. When you lack motivation, you don't care about the playoffs. You're not going to be able to compete at a high level without motivation. So if there's something in the locker room or there's something in your company that is preventing that morale from growing, that is decreasing the morale, whatever that is has to change, because if it doesn't change, the people in your company or the people on your team are never going to be able to feel confident that you will have the motivation that you need to compete at a high level. There's a reason why companies do not go after the same opportunities as the industry leader. It's because somewhere in that company, someone has made a decision. Hey, we cannot compete with that big company. There's no way we can do it. They don't have the motivation. They don't have the inspiration. They can't see the vision. They just don't have it. So at the end of the year, they're not able to generate the profits that exceed expectations. At the end of the year, if they want to show profit, they're going to have to cut costs in a manner that is inconsistent with growth. So let's talk about why individually we lack motivation. I believe that every time we wake up in the morning, we have a reason to be motivated. We have a reason to say, you know what, this is a new day. This is a new opportunity. Let's get busy. We're gonna do the things that we need to do. And A lot of times we think about our friends. We call our friends, we talk to our friends, we talk to our family members, and we expect to get motivation from our family members. We expect to get motivation from our friends. And if we can't get them from our friends and our family members, if we're going to school, we want to get it from our classmates. If we're going to work, we want to get motivation from our coworkers, because we know that if we have motivation, then we'll be able to achieve our personal and professional goals. But it doesn't happen. Why? It's probably because your friends, your family, your classmates, your coworkers, they don't have motivation to share with you. So many people are not investing in motivation. You're not going to these motivational speakers. You're not listening to these videos. You're not recharging your morale after something bad happens in your life. You're depleted. You're going through life like you're hanging on by a thread. And guess what? All of your friends are doing the same thing, and everyone in your family is doing the same thing. Everyone is expecting someone else to pick them up emotionally. Everyone is expecting someone else to push that rock up the hill. Everyone is expecting someone else to motivate them. Oh, you want me to do it? Oh, it's not going to work. Why isn't it going to work? It's because they have lack of motivation. They can't see it. When you lack motivation, it's like having dark sunglasses on at night. You can see that the stars are out there, the lights are on, but because you have dark sunglasses, you can't even see the brightness of the stars. Because you have dark sunglasses on, you can't even see the moon. You can't even see the lights. You can't even see the opportunities when you're going through difficult times. Why? Because you lack motivation. Everyone has motivation in the morning. Believe it or not, I wake up in the morning, and even if it's a difficult day, I have motivation. But let's talk about why we lose it. A lot of us, we share our good vibes, we share our energy with people. The people that are close to us, the people that we work with, people that we go to school with. Some of the people that we share our vibes with, some of the people that we interact with, some of the people that we communicate with, some of those people are depressed. Some of those people who have so low motivation that they essentially suck your energy. They drain your energy. Some of those people have such low motivation. Some of them are just lazy, to be honest with you. It is very, if you meet somebody who was absolutely 100% lazy, that's who they are. If you try to motivate someone who is 100% lazy, they don't have a bone in their body that wants to work. It is so hard to motivate the 1% of the population that is absolutely lazy. But if you're not that person and you're not lazy, you can be motivated. Your ability, your product, your service, or whatever it is that you're producing, you're delivering, your actions, your goals can be reached. But many of us are not able to, because we're sharing our good vibes, we're sharing our energy, we're sharing our goals, we're sharing our work with people who are not motivated at all. They're not motivated at all. They drain our motivation. I believe one of the biggest groups of people who drain our motivation are people who are jealous of you. Lazy people are very jealous people. I talk about lazy people a lot. When lazy people are jealous of you, you know what they do? You might tell them, hey, this is my goal, or this is my dream, or this is my vision. You know what a lazy person is going to say to you? They're jealous of you, right? They're going to tell you, that's not going to work. They're going to say something to discourage you. They'll say something to drain your energy. They'll say something to discourage you. And why would they do that? Why would a lazy person who happens to be jealous, why would they want to say something to you to drain your energy? I believe it's because the only way that they feel good is if you're doing worse than them. And they're not necessarily jealous of who you are today. They're not jealous necessarily of what you have today. What they're jealous, because you don't have it very much. You haven't reached your personal and professional goals. They're not jealous of the things that you have today. What they're jealous of is the fact that you have something inside you that allows you to believe that life can get better. That's what they're jealous of. They're jealous of the fact that you have something in there that makes you believe that your work could result in a better situation for yourself and for your family. They're jealous of your drive, they're jealous of your energy, they're jealous of your spirit, they're jealous of the dedication that you put into working in your on your body. They're jealous of your determination. They're jealous of your resilience, because the resilience is proof that you have dreams that are worth working for. They are worth sacrificing for. They're worth fighting for. And they're jealous of the fact that you have that belief inside you that there is something out there that is worth your effort, that is worth your 100% effort. They're jealous of that. They're jealous of your potential. People who are lazy and who are jealous of you and who try to discourage you, they are jealous of the potential that you have inside you. They know they don't have it. They're afraid of that potential. And they're not just afraid of the celebration that you're going to have when you finally reach your personal and professional goals, but they're also afraid of the work that you have to put in order to get there, because they're not willing to put in the work. People who are lazy and they're jealous of you. And the other thing that they'll do is they'll tell you all the reasons why something that you believe in is not going to work. And they're not going to lift a finger to help you. They're the type of people that will tell you all the reasons why your business idea, all the reasons why your career goals, all the reasons why your personal goals are not going to be able to come to fruition. They'll tell you all of the challenges that you're going to face. They'll tell you all the people that are going to try to stop you, and they will not lift a finger in order to help you. They're lazy and they're jealous of you. And the reason why they're telling you all the challenges is because they want to find another way to discourage you. Just speaking and just trying to discourage you without a strategy wasn't really working. Now they are actively trying to deny you opportunities. They'll tell you all the things that are not going to work. And if you ask them for help, they'll say no. That's the second thing that people who are jealous and lazy are going to do to you. The last thing that I've seen them do is they will actively stop you from reaching your goals. If they have the power to, if they have the opportunity to, if they can actively work to stop you, they will. If they can actively work to hold you back, they will. So when you start making progress and when you start going along and you're reaching your personal and professional goals, when you start reaching your career goals, what they will do is they will encourage you to be closer and closer and friends with them. They will say things that make you think that the friendship that you guys have together is something that is very significant and very profound. And then they will use that personal, informal connection with you. They will use their relationship with you to hold you back. How could you spend so much time away from me? How could you do X, Y, and Z and you don't share? How could you do that in your career and you don't help me do the same thing in my career? They never wanted to help you. They never wanted to walk with you. They never wanted to assist you. They never wanted to encourage you. But they will be the first person to say, how come you're leaving me behind? And then when you get to your goals and now you're all there, they'll be the first person to stand up and say, you know what? I was there the whole time. That's how people who are jealous and lazy of you, that's how they drain your morale. They will stand up and say, I was there the whole time. I supported him the whole time. I supported her the whole time. I was their number one cheerleader. But they weren't there cheering for you. They were actually discouraging you. They were actually draining your energy. And you might have the attitude and you might be gracious enough to not hold their feet to the fire. But trust me, people who are jealous and lazy of you, they will come at you by saying things that are discouraging. They will come at you by denying you opportunities. And then they will come at you by actively trying to hold you back. You got to be careful. Be careful who you work with. Be careful who you live with. Be careful who you are in relationship with. Be careful who you communicate with. Be careful. There's people who are jealous and lazy, and they are trying to drain your energy, and eventually they drain your motivation. And if they are successful, you will lose motivation. You will not reach your personal and professional goals. You will not reach your career goals. Your company will not be successful. You will not be able to create a better quality of life for you and your children. If they are successful in demotivating you, then you will be in misery just like them. And for them, that's okay because misery loves company. It's a huge, huge problem. When you lose motivation, it's a huge problem. Everything in your life looks worse. I've met people who are 60, 70, some 80 years old. And back in their 20s and 30s, they lost motivation. And each time they had an opportunity to do something, to get that motivation back, to get that fire back, to get that energy back, each time they chose not to. They chose not to pursue that new career opportunity. They chose not to go to that new course. They chose not to pursue that hobby. They chose not to pursue that relationship. They just lost all motivation. And because they can look back on their life and see so many regrets, when they see you going after your goals, when they see you pursuing your career goals, when they see you making progress on the things that you want to make progress on, they will try their best to discourage you because your life is a testimony of what their life could have been if they didn't give up. Your life, when you pursue your goals and you achieve success because you stayed motivated, your life becomes an example of what their life could have been if they didn't lose motivation, if they would have found the determination and the resilience inside them in order to succeed. And they didn't. They'll tell you they did, but they didn't. They're the people who will tell you how to do it, but they never did it. They just don't have the same motivation. Maybe they stopped believing in their potential. Maybe they stopped hanging around the right people. Maybe they stopped believing in themselves. But you can't fall into any of those traps. You can't. If you do, you lose motivation. You won't reach your personal, professional goals, and your life will be miserable. Look around you. There is 1,000 reasons why you shouldn't be motivated, but you have to find that one reason to be motivated. There's too many examples of people that we have in our lives that are not motivated. They are horrible people to be around. Trust and believe. They're not, their energy is ugh. You hear them speaking about the things that they want to do, and you're like, come on, let's do it. At least try. They're not motivated. They have zero motivation. Now, I used to be a trainer in the United States Air Force, and I became an expert at knowing when someone was not motivated. See, I had no problem if you tried something and you failed. I had no problem if you tried something, you bumped into someone else, and you messed up the movement. I had no problem if you messed up at your job, as long as you learned from your mistake. As long as you're willing to learn from whatever your mess up is, whatever your failure is, as long as you're willing to learn, find out what you need to do different next time, and as long as you try, I had no problem. I know there are some people out there who say, don't say try. Try doesn't exist. No, try does exist. There's levels to this. There are some people who try, and when they try, you don't see them sweat. And other people, they do. You'll see some people when they try, you can feel it in their soul that they're trying. You can, it's almost like you see them bleed inside. They're trying so hard, their muscles are shaking. They're trying so hard, they break a bone. I'm saying there are some people out there who try their best. And depending on what their best is, it's enough. And so when I train people, I say, all you got to do is try. Try your best. If you try your best, I can train you. If you try your best, you can learn. However, if you come to work, you join the military, or whatever it is that you're doing, you show up and you're not willing to try, like you have no motivation, like zero. If your motivation is zero, if you try and your motivation is on 0.0001, I can get you to 1% motivation. I can get you to 5, 10, 15, 25% motivation over time. I can get that motivation to a 100%, and you'll finally reach your full potential. But if you come to work and you have zero motivation, 0%, and you're not willing to try, you're not willing to learn, you're not willing to develop, you're not willing to put forth any effort, I can't work with that. That's just lazy. No one, no keynote speaker, no military trainer, no professional development facilitator, no CEO, no manager, no senior manager, no executive. Nobody can work with somebody who has zero motivation. Nobody can work with someone who is 100% lazy. No one can. There's nothing you can do with them. They will destroy your company. They will destroy the morale on your team. They will be a horrible friend to you. They'll be a horrible neighbor. You don't want them in your community. Someone who has absolutely zero motivation, 0% try, can't mess with it. But come to work and you try. That's all we need. Try your best. And let your best be today. Let your best tomorrow be better than your best today. Tomorrow, come and try harder. Come and try harder. If you did X, Y, and Z today, let's try to do a little bit more tomorrow. And eventually you'll get there. Eventually you'll be able to reach your personal and professional goals. Eventually your team will be able to outperform. Eventually your company will be able to create profits that exceed expectations. If you come to work and you just try harder than you did yesterday. That's all I ask you to do. When it comes to generating motivation, this is coming to the heart of the matter. We know that motivation is a problem. We know that it is important. We know that people who are lazy and jealous drain our energy and they kill our motivation. Now it is time for us to get it back. One of the ways, and I'm going to show you right now, right here, how I get my motivation back. A lot of times it's important for us to pay attention to the things that are said about us. Pay attention to the things that are said about you. Think about the worst things that you have heard said about you. You don't have enough experience for that job. You don't have the right education. You're uneducated. You don't have culture. I don't like the way you speak. I don't like the way your face looks. Just think about all the bad things that you've heard somebody say about you. You don't know how to dress. Think about just write them down. Write down all the bad things that someone has said about you. Write down all the adjectives. Write down all the nouns. Write them down. Write down all the verbs. If you have to use bad language, use bad language. Whatever it is, there are some crazy slurs out there. Write down on a piece of paper all the things that you have heard somebody say bad about you. And then I want you to embrace it. That's right. Instead of taking those things and using them to beat you up, I want you to use the things that you hear said about you and the bad and the negative things that people have said about you. I want you to use those things to build you up. I want you to use those things that people say about you as bricks in the wall that you're going to create in order to create a castle, in order to create a fortress. And that castle, that fortress is going to be able to give you the motivation that you need in order to overcome every single challenge that you face. If you look at all the things that people say about you, uneducated, no culture, you're this, you're that. Okay. All those things that I see on my piece of paper and all those things that you see on your piece of paper, it appears that people think you're a savage. And instead of thinking, oh man, people think I'm a savage, or oh man, people think I'm not cool to be with. Instead of thinking like that, embrace it. Embrace being a savage. But be a savage about your personal and professional goals. Be a savage about productivity. Be a savage about living the life that you want to live. Be a savage about overcoming every single obstacle that you face. Be a savage about fixing every system. Be a savage about the things that you want to do in your life and the contributions that you're going to make to society. Be a savage about better providing a better quality of life for your children. Be a savage about maintaining and nurturing and finding the type of love that is going to last longer than a lifetime. Be a savage about the things that you want to do. Be a savage about it. Till you're uneducated. You don't have the right education, or you don't have the level that they respect. It's okay. You don't need a lot of you don't need a lot of motivation. You don't need a lot of education in order to do what you need to do with motivation. Be a savage about your personal goals. There are some people out there who want to be too polite. Going after your personal and professional goals is not a walk in the park. It is not something that you just do leisurely. In my mind, when I think about a savage is willing to work longer than most people. A savage is willing to sacrifice. If there's a big challenge and you have to stay outside, or you have to stay inside, or you have to do something for an extended period of time, embrace that part of your personality that is resilient, that is determined. Embrace that savage inside you that allows you to overcome every single challenge in order to reach your goals. In my mind, a savage is someone who fights. A savage is someone who is not afraid of something that is unexpected that comes into their life. A savage is willing to respond and take care of any situation. A savage can decide if I'm going to fly or fight. A savage can decide whether or not they're going to run away or run to danger. But a savage tends to make the decision to fight. Be a savage. Be the savage. Be the person that runs to danger. Be a savage that runs to your personal and professional goals. Be the savage that sacrifices everything for your personal and professional goals. Be the savage that is willing to work longer than other people. Be that savage that doesn't know any better. Be the animal. Be the animal. Don't be the polite gentleman or the polite lady that is going to walk kindly and gently up to your goals. No, run at them. Work for them. Sacrifice for them. Fight for them. Don't take any prisoners while you're on your path. Don't take any prisoners. Go after your goals. Don't back down. You're a savage. You hear what people say about you. You see the comments that they put online. You hear the whispers when you walk into the room and people talk about you. Who do you think? What does he think he is? Who does she think she is? Oh, they're uppity. They look at how they talk. Oh, he's so articulate. You hear what they say about you. They think you're a savage, so just embrace it. Be the savage. Go after your goals. Don't worry about the distractions. Don't worry about what they think about you. Don't worry about what they say about you. Be the savage. They already think you can't hear. Stop listening. Stop listening to their discouragement. Stop listening to the comments that they say about you. Stop listening to them. Be the savage. Go after your goals. Have a one-track mind. I used to get teased so much. Oh, Kenneth, you have such a one-track mind. When you focus on something, when you have faith in something, when you believe in something, you're not willing to consider any other option. You're right. You're right. In some ways, I'm a savage. In some ways, I am determined. Once I lock in on something, once I say something is going to occur, I will move heaven and earth for it to occur. That's the commitment that I'm willing to make. Be the savage. Be the person that makes a commitment and keeps it. Be the person that is a savage. Be the person that sets a goal and will die or reach that goal. It's do or die. Be the savage who's not willing to give up. Don't give up. Be the type of person that when other people who are not pursuing their goals, or the other people who are lazy and jealous and they don't want you to succeed, be the type of person that resists everything that they're saying and goes after your goals. In this world, we have so many distractions. We have so many distractions with our cell phone. We have so many distractions on the internet. There's so many things to pay attention to. We have so many distractions. What about what about this? What if we became distracted by our goals? What if when you're watching TV, you're watching Netflix, you're watching whatever, what if you say, you know what, instead of letting this distract me from my goals, what if I use my goals to distract me from this activity? Get distracted by your goals. Get so focused on your goals that people think you're crazy. Be the savage. Get so focused on your goals that no relationship, no plea, nothing is going to stop you from reaching your goals. Be the savage. They already think you are. They, there are some people who are ugly, and I hate to say this, there are some people who are ugly, and they'll call you ugly. Be the savage. Be ugly. Don't worry about how it looks. Don't worry about how you look while you're going after your goals. You'll look good once you achieve the success that you want to get. Be the savage. Be that savage. There are some people who go to the gym and like, you know what? I'm going to the gym. I want to meet somebody. I want to make sure that I'm looking cute. I make sure I'm looking good. I want to make sure that I flex my muscles this way and that way. I want to make sure I stand over here in this lighting. There are some people who go to the gym because they're trying to meet somebody and they're trying to act a certain type of way at the gym. There's a place for those people. We need models everywhere, in my opinion, but be the savage. When you go to the gym and you're working out and you set a goal for yourself to lose a certain amount of weight and you're trying to put on muscle, don't worry about how it looks. Don't worry about how that sweat runs off your face. Don't worry about what the faces your face will make. Don't worry about the expressions on your face. Go after the work. Do the things that you have to do in order to succeed and be the savage. Be as savage as you can at the gym. We know better. It's more important to look good. I'll say that again. It is more important to be good than it is to look good. When you're the savage, you know that it is so much more important to actually be good than look good. Even if you tried, right? Even if you tried to look good, you say, you know what? I'm going to wear these clothes. I'm going to put on this thing and I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do this and X, Y, and Z. Even if you did the whole week, you worked on looking good, right? And the whole week you worked on not sweating. You worked on just walking good. Just the whole week you focused on looking good. There is going to be someone when they go into the room and you walk in and you introduce yourself, there's going to be someone who says, I don't like the way you look. You could have worked the whole week on trying to look good. You could work the whole week on trying to make your team look good. You might work the whole year on trying to make your company look good, but regardless of how your company looks, regardless of how your team looks, regardless of how you look, there's going to be someone out there who says, you know, I don't like the way you look. There's going to be someone out there who says, you know, I don't like the way your team looks. There's going to be someone out there who says, you know, I don't like the way your company looks. It's just not me. So if you spend all this time looking good and you don't spend even more time actually being good, you'll never be able to reach your goals. Because when you actually focus on doing good instead of just looking good, when you focus on doing the things that you need to be good, when you're a savage, you focus on the things that you have to do to be good, then you can reach your personal and professional goals, and you don't have to worry about looking good until you get there. Trust and believe. There's a reason why there's people do makeovers. Once you reach the place that you want in your career, once your company does what it needs to do, you'll have the resources that you need to buy a wardrobe, to get a photographer, to do all the things that you need to do in order to look good. But first, focus on being good. First, build it. You don't want to walk into a house that doesn't have good bones. You don't want to walk into a house that doesn't have a good structure, a good foundation. Focus on being good. Be a savage about it. If you looked at a house and you took off all the paint, you took off all the drywall, you took off everything, and you just looked at the infrastructure of a house, it doesn't look good. That's what it's going to be like when you're going after your goals. It's not going to look good. Be a savage. After the house is done, you know, it looks pretty good. You want to live there. You want to move your family in. You want to invite your friends over. You want to have a housewarming. All these other things happen when it actually is finished and it looks good. But in the process, it does not look good. Trust and believe. in your process, while you're going after your personal and professional goals, it is not going to look good. Be a savage. It's going to look good once you reach your goals. All right, that's my message for you today. I hope you enjoyed it. I look forward to talking to you again in the next video. Bye.